forget. This is basically where we keep them all. Nicole takes the recordings of these and literally puts them on our YouTube channel, and you guys can watch them anytime. So if you happen to miss one, great, you can go back and catch up on it. This is not meant so that you can skip the mornings and with the idea of doing it later, because that's not a good idea. But if you do happen to miss one, you can go back. Or if there's something great and you didn't get all the notes on it that you wanted, you can go back and re-listen to it. That's right, hearing it twice. Repetition is the mother of all learning. You've got, guys, Sharpening the Saw, the SoundCloud episodes. There's about 20 of those out now that Nathan Terborg created while he was here with us, and they're awesome. You know, like, are you getting ahead or are you just getting by? That's a great question to ask ourselves. And there's some great material in here to help us think through that. Catch yourself doing things right. Don't be your own worst enemy. Be your own best cheerleader. How to Set Your Own Goals and Blow Your Own Damn Mind by Amanda Arndt. Adapt and Thrive. You know, it's got to be strong when it's got a swear word in it in the title. Man, Adapt and Thrive. How to Work Effectively from Home. Approaches, the 1, 2, and 3. Building Rapport. Finding a Need. Buying Atmosphere. Guys, all these things that I'm mentioning, these are parts that when I go out in the field and work with you guys, these are parts that some of you are challenged with. Well, again, going home and just popping a cold one and watching Sports Center is not going to make you any better the next day, but digging in with this will. The presentation of the benefits, the price build up, the transition to close, the rebuttals, it's all right in there, guys. The B2B training videos, guys, check this out. They're actually videos that you can see and visualize that literally have Nathan Terborg and the two-time agency owner of the year, Mr. Justin Ellingson, literally doing all the parts of B2B sales. And these are the guys that had two of the largest groups in family heritage. Final approach, building rapport. Do you just do one approach and then leave? Or do you have a second approach, a third approach? Are you good at finding the need? Do you know the price buildup? Do you just skip that part, or do you do a good effective price buildup where people know why they need this? The transition to close, the rebuttals are all in here, guys. That's a part that a lot of you guys don't even use. And a certain percentage of your clients will buy if you do an effective rebuttal. If you did the rebuttal one time and it didn't work the first time and you said, this doesn't work. Guys, that would be like someone taking a bath in the morning or a shower and then going to work all day at a construction site and going, at the end of the day, being dirty and going, well, that didn't work. I'm dirty again. I'm not going to waste my time showering. I know it sounds really silly, but that's how silly using the rebuttal once or twice and not having it work and saying they don't work. It didn't work for you with your skill level, which means you need to work on it more. You need to sharpen your saw. Guys, there are so many videos that are in here for you to look at and learn from. What I'm going to talk to you guys about right now is the continual training audios. Now, when you're new in our business, we have basically a diet of these for your first 3 weeks. Okay, when you get out of Sales Academy on that Tuesday, we start them the following Monday, and in the very first week, there's 5 of them that are there prescribed for you that you should listen to. Starting out with the Critical Success Factors by Chris Samuels, going into approaching, because that's what we do when we go into a business. We approach it. How to effectively do that. The phases of your career and thinking long term. Guys, that's specifically on how to not get caught in the trap of, oh my gosh, I can't see myself doing this for 20 years. And that's what a lot of people do when they're 3 or 4 weeks into the business and their skills aren't high yet and they're still in the cold calling phase. They get caught in that thinking and they think that this is the job forever. Well, guys, I can tell you from experience, that ain't the job forever if you do it right. It can be very, very different and morph into something pretty amazing. Week 2 has another 5 for you too. So Monday through Friday, week 3. And some of you guys are going, crap, I'm in my 3rd month and I never even listened to any of these. If that's the case, guys, go back and start today. Okay. But certainly don't go, oh, well, I guess I missed it those 3 weeks. I'll never do it. You're missing the boat, because these things have actually secrets to being successful in our business. Beyond just those 5 weeks, those first 3 weeks, guys, there's some great stuff over here on the right side. Attitude, motivation, and purpose. Starting your career. Ooh, if you're new, that's a good area. And there's like 6 MP3s in there on getting started in the initial stages of your career and how to max that out. Technical, approach and introduction. Technical, rapport and buying atmosphere. Technical, objections, rebuttals, and closing. Groups and enrollments, culture, leadership, and training. Train mores. I know some of you guys are going on a train more for the first time ever coming up. I believe Todd and Zach and those guys have something whipped up for, I think, Richmond, Virginia is where we're talking about going. So for some people, it's going to be their first train more. It would be good to listen to some of the 4 MP3s on how to have explosive train mores. Some really great ones by some legends in our business. But what I'm going to share with you guys today is one that's from right up here at Attitude, Motivation, and Purpose. Okay. And it's by my mentor, Mr. Peter Ferre. And it is about habits, skills, and attitude. I'm going to start it right now. And I hope you guys will listen intently because, again, this is the guy that hired me, that taught me how to do this business. Absolutely amazing. And Peter always had a way of making things so simple. There's not a whole lot of fancy stuff. Peter was just a master of the simple basics of our business in sales, in recruiting, in training, in mentoring, and just being a master of the basics will really get you somewhere. So please, pen and paper, jot a couple of things down, and I encourage you to, and when you find something that's like, ooh, that's a key for me, star it or circle it, because I'd love to take 2 minutes at the end and just go around the horn and have 5 or 6 people share one nugget that they're taking away that they're going to change starting today and really focus on the next 3 weeks making that a habit. So here we go. Habit, Skills, and Attitude by Peter Ferre.
Y'all, in our business, and really in most all businesses, success is a result of putting a couple different fundamentals, a couple different pieces of the puzzle together at the same time. In our business, the most successful people, the folks that week in and week out are generating the results that they want, the folks that right now have residual incomes of $10, $12, $15, $18,000 a month, they've been able to get to that point because they've paid attention to their habits, their skills, and their attitude. Habits, skills, and attitude are the 3 variables. And I'm going to say in our business, but I would venture to say in most anything. If you're a parent, how good of a parent you are will have a lot to do with your habits. It will have something to do with your skills as a parent. We can learn how to be better parents. And it'll have a lot to do with your attitude. If you're a great spouse, it's going to have something to do with your habits. Do you kiss your spouse goodbye in the morning? Do you give her or him a big hug when you come home at night? It's going to have something to do with our skills. Do we know how to listen? How to communicate effectively? And it's going to have a lot to do with our attitude. Are we excited about being around that person? So these are principles, habits, skills, and attitude that apply to most anything that we do. But we're going to talk to them right here about how they apply to this business. Because the success that you want to enjoy is not going to be developed just by having a good attitude, although that's important. It's not going to be developed just because you know how to give the sales presentation better than anybody else. Because a good sales presentation with a bad attitude is not going to generate results. Nor is it going to happen just because your habits are great and you wake up smack on at 6 o'clock every morning and you're out there running around. You have to put all 3 of them together. If ever your business is not where you'd like it to be, or if ever your relationship is not where you'd like it to be, and you could use this in most anything. I first learned this from reading an article from Tiger Woods many years ago, where he talked about if his golf game was not where he wanted it to be, his common filter system was habits, skills, and attitude. So he would run his golf game through that filter, the habits, skills, and attitude filter. And it might come back and you might say, gosh, my habits were good. My attitude was good, but gosh, my skills were off. I kept shanking the ball off into the woods. He might, after doing that, it might come back and say, you know what, my skills were good and my attitude was good, but my habits were off. I wasn't doing those little preparation things that I normally do. So this is a great filter that you can use to self-correct your business and other areas of your life at any point in time. Now, to make this work right, we have to know what are the right habits? What are the right skills? What is the correct attitude to have to be successful in what we do? So let's talk about that a little bit, okay? Let's talk about that a little bit. And again, in a summary form, hitting our goals, achieving what we want to is a result of putting together the right habits, the right skills, and the correct attitude. We always have to work on those things. If you've been here for 2 months, you need to work on them. If you've been here for 9 years, you need to work on those skills and those habits and those attitudes. They never happen without us thinking about them, and they never become automatic where we can close our eyes and they automatically go on. We have to keep reiterating and reminding ourselves. So let's talk about habits. What are the right habits in our business that a successful person is going to generate? Well, some of those habits are our work habits. Okay, our work habits. Our work habits would be starting and stopping at the same time every day, having a schedule. Do you run a business, or are you a day laborer that's shown up at the workshop to get a job today? See, a business has a set opening time and a set closing time every day. Do you run your business that way? Do you have a work habit of you're at work by a certain time every morning and you don't leave work till a certain time each evening? So that's one of the habits. Running your business should be open 40 to 50 hours a week if you're going to be effective in building and growing and achieving. Another one of the work habits is how many presentations do you put in each day? If you put in 3 demos a day and you work a 5-day week, that's 15 a week. If you put in 6 demos a day on a 5-day week, that's 30. 6 is what we recommend because we know statistically those numbers work. It's going to take a person doing 3 demos a day 2 weeks to accomplish what the other person accomplished in 1 week. Do you want to be a person that accomplishes in 1 week what it takes other people 2 or 3 to do? Then put in the 6+ demos per day and make that not something if the world and the sun and the moon all line up correctly, it happens. Make something that happens every day. You don't finish your day until you put in 6 presentations. See, in most businesses, there's fundamentals that always happen every day, and the business doesn't shut its doors till those things happen. In this business, that needs to be the hours you work. That needs to be the number of presentations that you give. We talk about the 2 out of 3 principle here, and that is never finishing your day until you've done at least 2 of the following 3 things. And you can adjust these to fit yourself, but here's the baseline 2 out of 3. At least 8 hours a day, at least 6 demos a day, closing demos where a person has enough information to buy the product. A demo is not, hey, I have a supplemental insurance policy, would you like to buy it? Oh, you wouldn't? Okay, great, I got a demo. That is not a demo. A demo is they know what it is, they know how it works, they know how much it costs, and they know how to get it. That's a demonstration. So the 2 out of 3 principles, 8+ hours a day, 6+ demos a day, and or 1 or more client. Never finish a day until you've done at least 2 of those 3 things. Some days it's going to be very easy to do 2 out of 3. Bam, it's just going to happen. Yesterday, Grant Fenton did 3 out of 3. He worked 14 hours. I think he gave 7 presentations and he had a sale. Other days, it's going to be like climbing up Mount Kilimanjaro without ice crampons on, and you're going to be slipping, sliding. It's going to be tough. And it's going to take it to that very last presentation that night to get in your 6th demo. You might actually have to work 8.5 or 9 hours to get in those 6 demos. But y'all, that's what's the fundamental of being a professional and running a successful business, doing what needs to be done irregardless. So that's one of the habits, your work habits. You can't violate that one. Second habit in our business is our motivational habit. What are we doing to keep our mind focused and correct and thinking in the right way? If we are not consciously thinking positive, uplifting, good thoughts, unconsciously, we're probably thinking negative, downward thinking thoughts. So what are your motivational habits each day? Do you read? These are just some of the books that I might read. Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude is a great book. Read it for 15 minutes in the morning. I'm the greatest salesman in the world. Read each one of these scrolls in 10 minutes. And that 10 minutes will put some positive thoughts in your brain to keep you going all day long.
can't hear it anymore, Van.
Might be at the coffee shop. For me, it's at our kitchen counter at 5:15 in the morning when everybody else in the house is asleep. And I get some great reading done then. Some other motivational habits is, what are you saying to yourself throughout the day? Are you saying to yourself, gosh, it sure is rainy out here. I hope I don't get too wet. Or are you saying, sure is wet out here. That means everyone's going to be home today. Everyone's going to be inside. You know, people are always more relaxed on rainy days than they are on other days. For something about rain makes people more laid back. I'd rather have a rainy day over anything else because people are more chilled out then. Other motivational habits. Do you stay connected with others? You know, Jim Calhoun shared with us on a conference call on Saturday. He encouraged us to call 3 or 4 people after we made a sale to share the good news. It helps motivate those people, but you know what? It also inspires us who's making that call. Other motivational habits. What do you listen to during the day? When you're driving from prospect to prospect, from business to business, are you listening to talk radio, which generally isn't that positive? Now, I'm not saying don't listen to talk radio, just don't listen to it during the business day, okay? In most jobs, you can't sit at your desk listening to talk radio all day. If you did, eventually some boss is going to say, hey, you need to turn that off and pay attention to your job. You're the boss in this job. You need to do that for yourself. Put in a positive CD in your car. Put in the sales talk. We have a whole series. If you want, download this CD onto your own disc and put it in your car and listen to it. Or actually download a good one where it's going to be motivational for you. But you know, there's a lot of material out there that you can listen to during the day that's going to create a motivational habit. The third habit, so the first 2 are your work habits, your motivational habits, and the third one is your organizational habit. Successful businesses, successful business people, successful people in our business are organized. They pay attention to the details of their business. Simple little things that they use to stay organized. One is they keep a very neat pre-approach pad. Okay, they keep a very neat pre-approach pad. They're organized. They can read it. They can look back at that pre-approach pad 6 months later and know what it says. Other organizational habits is they use the demo goal card that we give you to keep track of how many calls they've had, how many hours they've worked, how many demos they've had. I met 3 people yesterday and I said, how many demos did you do last week? They said a lot. I said, well, how many? They said, I don't know. I didn't keep track of them. Okay, that's not being organized. That's not a well-run business. Use the demo goal card to be organized. Okay. Other organizational details are report your stats each day. Ask your manager, call your manager each evening and say, hey, here's how my day went. If you've been with us for a while and your manager's okay with it, enter those stats on the website each night. See, that organizational habit will help you run a better business because you'll be able to track your statistics, look at your numbers, evaluate your results, and make adjustments to your business over time. That's what good businesses do. Another organizational habit is, what does your presentation book look like? I've been out with some of you guys, and your presentation book is falling apart at the seams. It looks like you've spilled a gallon of Starbucks coffee on it, and it looks like your kids might have had a little art class on it. You need to clean up that presentation book because remember, your clients are going to create a perception of you by how they see you and what you show them. Some simple organizational habits. Do you keep track of your clients? Do you keep track of who you saw that was interested but they didn't enroll today so you can call back on them? That's being organized. So habits. Remember, habit, skills, and attitude. Work habits, motivational habits, and organizational habits are all important. And you guys, you might sit here and go, God, that's a lot of stuff to remember. You guys, nothing I've shared here is very complicated. It's going to work every day at the same time and stopping at the same time. It's doing some daily reading, using good self-talk, listening to some positive stuff in your car, and it's being organized. Nothing that's that complicated. The next thing we talked about is skills. Habits without skills are kind of really a waste of time. Okay, habits without skills are really just spinning your wheels. The skills that are critical in our business are the skills that were taught to you in sales school. Now, sales school is only 5 days long, so you may not have had a chance to learn everything while in sales school. But very simply, let me share with you the skills that if you know these and are down with these, you're going to do fine. And when I say know them, that means if someone said, hey, do the approach for me, you give the approach word for word. If someone said, show me how to keep track of pre-approach in the residential market or in the business market, whichever market you work in, you can show them right away. If I called you at one of our national meetings and said, would you come up on stage and give a sales talk to everybody, you'd have no problem with doing it because you know the sales talk word for word. The habits we need to know, need to know how to keep track of pre-approach. Not keeping pre-approach and not asking for it at every business or house you go to is a mistake, and it'll cost your business results. I'd say your business will do 10 to 25% less business by not getting pre-approach. The second skill that you need to be an expert at is the approach, what you say when you approach somebody at their home or their business. That's the person's first impression of you. If we use the right words and terms, we're going to be able to sit down with them. And if we don't, we won't. You need to be an expert at that in the right manner and give the correct approach. The next skill is building need in the introduction. A person needs to see why they would need the plan. We've talked about that in another video segment. Another skill is personalizing the demo and doing the demonstration word for word. Another skill is knowing the close word for word. And that includes the transition into the close, where you say, Paul, now you've seen the entire plan. What Sally and Tom liked is the fact that it paid money right to them. And what Ralph and Bob liked is the fact that it covered so many different things. What was it that you liked most about the plan? That's a transition into close. That's a skill you need to have. The last two skills are rebuttals. You need to know those word for word. I held a meeting yesterday and there were 17 people there. Some of them have been with us for a couple of years. Some of them have been with us for a couple of weeks. And I asked everybody, how many of y'all know all your rebuttals? And about 2 people confidently raised their hand. Some hands kind of went partially up, like, I think I've heard of the rebuttals. And a bunch of people looked at me and said, you know, I really don't know those rebuttals. I get about halfway through and I get frozen. You guys, I'm not great at sports analogies and people laugh at this, but I've got to believe, and the Boston Red Sox just won the World Series, I've got to believe that one of the reasons they won is because their skill level was there. They knew how to catch the ball. You can't go into the World Series thinking you're going to win if you can't catch. They knew how to hit. You can't go into a game like that saying we're going to be the world champions if you don't have the skill of hitting. They knew how to pitch. You can't throw a pitcher on the mound and just throw as fast as you can and don't worry about where it goes. You have to put somebody in there who knows what they're doing. Our business is the same. If you're building a business that is there to support you and your family, to provide college funding for your kids someday or retirement for you, if you have a dream to use the resources from this to buy a new home or to buy a home in the country or to buy a car without having to finance it or whatever the case may be, to tithe to your church and to do missions work, the only way that's going to happen is if you become a professional and you develop the skills and you learn how to present this product in a specific, detailed, professional manner. Pre-approach, approach, personalizing the introduction, building need in the introduction, personalizing the presentation, closing the rebuttals, and then finally asking, getting, and using referrals. So I'm not going to teach you all those skills because they're all in your presentation book. They're all in print on the sales talk. We have a DVD that has somebody doing the sales presentation live. We have a CD with somebody giving the sales presentation live. So all that material is there for you. You need to become an expert at it. You need to become an expert at it. Do you want to get on an airplane with a pilot who doesn't know how to start the airplane, or he's good at starting it and taking it off, but he's not a good lander? That would be like somebody who's good at the intro and maybe okay in the demo, but doesn't know how to close. Are you going to be confident getting on that airplane? I fly a lot and I would not. Okay. Same is true with our business. So habits, skills, and then the final thing we talked about is attitude. Habit, skills, and attitude. There are folks that have good habits and they do them because they know they have to. There are people that have good skills because they know that they're supposed to. But if that same person doesn't have an expectant, abundantly thinking attitude, people aren't going to enjoy spending time with them. I've met people and I've known people who I could tell they were experts in their field, but their attitude that they conveyed was not one that was inviting, was not one of expectation, was not one of positive. It was not a positive attitude. And selling is a transference of feeling. The feeling you bring into that presentation is going to be transferred to the prospect. And I'll share a little bit with this. As I've followed people over the years, I've watched a salesperson come into a house and the prospect was very somber, very quiet. Salesperson was energetic in a controlled manner. They weren't doing backflips. And I watched the process throughout that sales presentation. When we were all done, the prospect themselves was laughing, was comfortable, was energetic, was vibrant, because they adopted the attitude that that salesperson brought in. On the converse, I've seen the complete opposite of that. I've walked into businesses and homes with folks where the prospect was very energetic, inviting, oh, welcome to my home. And the salesperson was very somber, serious, cut the person off, didn't allow them to speak. And I watched that prospect go from being energetic and inviting to becoming closed and non-interested. So attitude. Let's talk a little bit about attitude. Just a couple of ideas that can help with attitude. Habit, skills, and attitude. What are things that we can do to help with our attitude? What are things that hurt our attitude? Okay. I know one thing that hurts my attitude is when I surround myself with people that doubt me. Some wonderful friends that there's certain situations I don't bring to them because I know it's not an area they believe in. Okay. I know it's not an area they have confidence in. So if I brought my thoughts to them, they would bring me down. I bring those thoughts to somebody else. So one thing that can help our attitude is spending time with the right people. You guys, your mom, your sibling, your spouse right now may not be super supportive because they're unsure about your business. They're uncomfortable. They're a little bit nervous about how well you might actually do. Okay. So that person may not be the person you're going to draw your positive energy from with regards to your job. That's okay. Our spouses don't have to be there for that all the time. Go to somebody else within your organization to help with that. Okay. Something that affects our attitude is what we read. There's an old saying that says we will be the same person 10 years from now that we are today, except for the books we read and the people we meet. If you are a reader, then make sure you're reading the right types of things that will uplift you, get you to expand your thinking. And if you're not a reader, then find some simple things to get you to start doing some reading. The internet's a great tool. You can find articles about improving your self-thought, self-talk. They're one page, they're simple to read. There's a great little booklet called Bits and Pieces that has little sayings and little quotes in it. One of my favorites is The Common Denominator of Success. Just a great little booklet. It's 20 pages that's chock full of wonderful information. So attitude can be influenced by what you read, can be influenced by what you listen to. We talked earlier about listening to positive CDs as opposed to talk radio. Can be influenced by who you talk with. In the middle of the day when you're having a bad day, here's a suggestion. Don't call up your buddy to commiserate with you, because all he or she's going to do is help you feel better about having your bad day. You need to call up one of your business partners and say to them, you know what, I need a hand. I'm having a rough day. I'm frustrated. I need you to talk me through it so I can come out on the other side. That's who you need to call when you're in that situation. Call a person who's going to help you, not a person who's going to commiserate with you and bring you down. And then finally, attitude is influenced by what we say to ourselves. Okay, what we say to ourselves. There is some funniness, we kind of fake it till you make it. Some big, bad, challenging days, just keep reminding yourself, I'm a professional and I make good things happen. Tom Hofer always used to say, the harder I work, the luckier I get. I sure am a lucky guy. So you guys, what we say, what we read, what we listen to, who we talk to influences our attitude. Attitude is something you have control over. You're either going to positively influence your attitude or negatively influence it. If you directly, consciously think good thoughts, read positive information, move yourself positively forward, you're going to be positively controlling your thoughts. If you disregard it and just leave your thoughts to themselves, by nature as humans, we have a propensity to think what's going to go wrong next. That's our survival mode. We need to override that at times to think about what good's going to happen next, because there's been statistical proof shown that we get what we think about the most, good or bad. So habits, skills, and attitude are the three variables that we need to pay attention to at all times. If your business is jamming, then you're shooting on all cylinders on all three of those. If you're not where you'd like to be, then sit down and ask for help. I can help you. Call your direct manager and say, okay, my business isn't exactly where it wants to be right now. Can you look at my habits, my skills, and my attitude with me to figure out where we need to spend the time to make the adjustments to move the business forward in the right place? Put those things into practice, and I think you'll find them to be very, very helpful.
So guys, that's Peter Ferre. Pretty insightful, pretty intelligent guy that just really kept things simple. Let's just pause for a second, guys, and let's. I'd love to hear a couple of key takeaways from some of you guys that were taking notes at home.
So hey, Ben, this is Johnny. I just want to say the building the need in the intro, that was pretty spot on. I hadn't really even considered using that type of platform in the intro, and just go ahead and establishing the need initially and early on, and then also that we get what we think about the most. Just planting those seeds of positivity and what we want, and just going out to get it and make it happen.
Very cool. Thanks, Johnny. Who else has got a key takeaway?
So Van, this is Brian. I just love the fact, just always just keeping that positive attitude, controlling what you can control, the controllables, no matter what kind of day you're having or how many closed-minded people you talk to, or, a corporate rejection. Just keeping a positive attitude and just keep pushing forward. Each day, just doing that each day can it can change your day. You just never know when that right-minded person that you're going to run into, and it can change your whole day at the very end of the day.
Nice. Thanks for that, BT. Appreciate you. Who else?
I really liked the selling is a transference of feelings. This is Sarah. That's something that I think is really cool, to be able to influence someone to have a better day because we were there.
Right on, guys. Guys, I had initially envisioned this piece as a leap board into doing some coaching on how to improve something that Peter spoke about specifically in here when he talked about habits. Probably the second thing that he said in there is putting in 6 demonstrations each day, not 3, not 4, but 6, because the average new person is going to close 1 out of 6, and that's going to put the odds in our favor. When we do 2 or 3 or 4, the odds are definitely not in our favor. And it's not always going to be easy. He even mentioned that sometimes you may have to work 8.5 or 9 hours. Heck, sometimes you might have to work 9.5 or 10 or 10.5 or 11 to get demo number 6. But when you make a habit of 6, you'll start getting it, and you'll start getting it in 9 hours. Then you'll start figuring out how to get 6 demos in 8 hours. But the important part is doing whatever it takes to get them to start. And I had a piece here, but I'm not going to go into it right now. But I will just share with you guys, just so you have a general idea. Hey, Ronaldo, if you can just hit mute. I think we're getting some feedback on your mic there. Guys, this is a piece that we've shared many times over, and some of you have never seen it. So I want you to at least look at it. But I want you to understand that when you give 30 demos in a week, that means you're giving 1,440 demos in a year. That's in a 48-week year. That's 48 weeks, and you're making 240 sales, assuming you close 1 out of every 6. And assuming your average transaction is $900, that's $216,000 of premium. Now, assuming a 40% contract, you're going to make $86,400. And assuming a 2% renewal, you're also going to make $25,920 of renewal income. So total income created is going to be $112,320. Now, some of you guys might think to yourself, well, 25 demos is pretty good. I mean, they recognize it on Monday mornings. And sure, it's better than 24. It's better than 22. It's not better than 30. But just so you have a good example of what doing 25 looks like, 25 demonstrations instead of 30, guys, is 1,200 for the year, okay, instead of 1,440. That's 240 less demonstrations. That's the equivalent of taking 8 weeks off throughout your year. That's basically taking 2 months of vacation. Okay, guys, I would submit that if you just do 30 demos a week for 10 weeks out of the year, then you can go take 2 months of vacation and you'll make a lot more, you'll have a lot more money and go somewhere cool. Go to Europe, go to Australia for 8 weeks. But don't take 8 weeks of vacation an hour at a time in your car on a daily basis. Go somewhere cool. That'll cost you 40 sales. It'll cost you $36,000 in premium. It'll cost you $14,400 of new commissions and another $4,300 of renewals. So it's $18,700. It's costing you to do 25 demos a week instead of 30. Now, some of you guys are closer down here to 20, and it's costing you 28 grand a year of new commissions, almost 10 grand a year of renewals. So almost, over $37,000. So just something, we'll dig into this a little more, maybe even on a Monday morning meeting, but I want you guys to be exposed to it and just understand the opportunity cost of going out day after day, week after week, and doing 3 or 4 or 5 demos and going, well, that's good. But guys, remember this. Jim Collins wrote in his book, Good to Great. Good is not close to great. Good is the enemy of great. If you want to be great at anything, at this job, on the sales part of it, 30 demos is definitely the way to go. Guys, I'll wrap up on this little piece right here because, and this is a piece that goes out to all our new hires when they're in the interview process. So they see this before they're even hired, between the initial phone interview and then the final interview, they get this. And this is an email that was sent to Peter Ferre by Jeff Dobines back on January 27th, 2005. So this is 16 plus years ago this was sent out. And the title of the email is simply awesome. I love it. Anything called awesome I'm excited to read. But he said, and Jeff, by the way, is the president of Southwestern Investment Services and the founder there. Very, very, very successful wealth manager and financial planner. But he says, Peter, I had an inspiring conversation with a client I wanted to share with you and your group. While reviewing their investment and retirement planning, my client indicated that they started their own business as her husband always wanted to own a scuba shop. I asked her where they got the money for the business, and she said they had a great income from renewals. I asked her what type of renewals, and she replied, renewals from my husband's career selling supplemental insurance. Her husband worked in your field for approximately 12 years and retired in 1990. So I guess he started in 78, 79, somewhere in there. They still have an annual income of approximately $80,000 per year from his career selling supplemental insurance. And even though he's been retired for more than 14 years, because remember, this is January of 05, they still have this annual income that enables them to live their dreams. By the way, he retired at age 36. So guys, I wouldn't get too stuck on the age part right there, age 36, because some of us are past age 36 already. So doing that's not really an option. But he also started when he was 12 years below that. So what was that? 24 years old is when he started. So the key, guys, is stick and stay and make it pay. And here this guy is 14 years after retirement with $7,000 a month of passive income still coming in. He ends up in the email, renewals, what a great way to generate a meaningful income for your entire life. So guys, if you want to generate a meaningful income for your entire life, I would challenge you, take your notes from today and review them. I'll email these out so you guys can have. I've already had 3 people text me, ask me if I can send them the notes. And I would encourage you guys, if you get on these calls and you just listen and you don't take notes like you're seeing right here, you're missing 90% of it. The human brain retains between 8 and 11% of what it hears unless you take detailed notes. So if you take no notes, you're getting about 10% of what you could be getting from taking notes and going back and reviewing it later. So I hope you take this seriously. I hope you take, these calls seriously, follow days seriously. I hope you become an expert note taker and going back and reviewing these notes, because it's not just hearing the stuff, but it's actually hearing it, picking out 1 or 2 things and doing something about it that changes your daily routine, that makes a big difference. And I hope the other thing that you guys will take away from this is just the value of not doing 4 demos anymore. Don't settle for 4. Use your demo goal card, like Peter said, and crystallize those goal periods. And it's 9 o'clock right now, guys. You've got 90 minutes between now and 10:30 to get a demo. Your job is to get your butt in front of somebody and show them the policy. And then when 10:30 gets here, you forget about 9 to 10:30, and it's 10:30 to 12. Your whole gig for 90 minutes is get your butt in front of somebody and give a demo. And then rinse and repeat 4 more goal periods, and you've got yourself a 9-hour day with 6 demos, and you will love the results. Guys, thanks for being on for a little bit extra coaching today, and a guest appearance from Peter via recording. Let's go out and make today an awesome day. It's hump day. Let's make the middle strong. Thanks, guys.
Great call, man.
Thanks, Greg.
Later, Van.
Bye, guys.